everybody.
I hate it. No, please,
I'm
we're done.
Donut,
He's gone.
And I'm here with my
Your fiance,
fiance.
Thermite.
I've seen South Park up to season 20-something.
I'm watching it blind.
This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all accounts are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, then you can get the fuck out of here. What was that intro? This is episode 10 of season 8, Preschool.
Right, preschool.
This is the loosest intro we have done yet.
So, Ike is
Shake it up.
Ike's in like first grade, right?
Yeah, he's in first grade now. No, wait, he's in kindergarten.
He's in kindergarten.
Yeah, he's in
So
kindergarten.
not preschool. So, yeah, I guess we don't know any preschoolers or like kids who would have siblings who are in preschool.
Yeah, I think the youngest person we know in the show is like.
Right. What could preschool be then? Because, like, it can't be the kids go to preschool. And I can't imagine it's going to be hey, for today, you're going to teach at preschool. Because, like, South Park will do things with the kids where it's like, they should probably be doing this in high school. But I can't imagine they'd go that far.
Yeah. Also, you know what? I just realized, like, we did that when Ike first started kindergarten. He was at the bus stop with them because he's Kyle's brother and everything, and that was the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
And then we just don't do that afterwards for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But it's like, how is Ike getting to school? Do they just drive to school every day now, or what?
Maybe. I mean, legitimately, it might be that their parents drive Ike to school because, he wants to be on time.
Yeah.
Whereas Kyle wants to be with his friends.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or just Kyle keeps kicking him every time.
Oh, no!
Maybe if you just pan over a little bit to the left, we would just always see Ike there.
Oh, no. Okay, so preschool. Maybe an episode about when they were in preschool. Like hey guys, don't you think it's real wild that we're still friends with Cartman? How did that happen? Why do you guys like Cartman? And then we go back in time and we see that in preschool, Cartman saved their lives. And they said, we will always be friends with you no matter what happens.
Now that has some big prequel energy.
That would be really cool. I really want a South Park prequel episode. Like, not just with this, but I'd love to see some prequel stuff from, the adults. Where they're all hanging around. They're like, oh yeah, I love geology. Me, Randy.
We kind of got that back in season 1 with Cartman's mom, where we got to see everybody when they were younger.
Yeah, you're right.
We've seen Mr. Garrison when he was a baby.
Oh boy.
You remember that?
We've seen young Mr. Mackey.
Yeah, we've seen young Mr. Mackey.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to get a lot of that shit back in the day.
Yeah,
whereas
you're right. It's
now not
been
so
a
much.
while.
Yeah. Anyway, alright, let's get into it. If you want to see the full length, check it out. Patreon below for $4 a month. You know how it fucking goes.
Mm.
Oh boy, it never stops being relevant.
So constant.
What would you rate this episode?
Oh, it's so good. 9 out of 10.
Okay, I think I'll also go 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll give you the floor.
I mean, it's such a perfect classic episode.
Yeah.
It is the running away from the demons of the past. And honestly, I'm really glad we didn't get that much in preschool. Like,
Yeah, we got just enough.
Like, it means they can also do it again later if they want to.
Yeah. Like, most notably, we saw, of course, the boys and Butters. And we
Yeah.
also saw Wendy.
Okay.
I know that.
I didn't recognize anyone else.
So, yeah, there's definitely Wendy.
Mhm.
Right, she's got the same hat on and everything. But I don't recognize anybody else other than her.
Okay.
So, canonically, that might be the only other one who is definitely around here. But to be fair, everybody else, has a much more generic kind of design, so
Yeah.
it's hard to tell if they're here or not.
And to be fair, we only see the boys and Butters freak out over this.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard to tell, but
Yeah.
Wendy's for sure. I'm glad they at least put her back there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is in the same school, even though Ike started going to their school in kindergarten. I don't know how that works, but...
Who knows how that works out?
Yeah.
Boy, seeing Miss Boyette is terrifying.
Who?
Their teacher.
What did you say?
Miss Boyette.
Miss Boyette?
Is that on her name?
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
I think I started to see. Where did you even get that from?
I don't know.
Miss Claridge.
Claridge.
Miss Boyette. I'm not sure where you got that from. Oh, Trent Boyette.
Trent
Is
Boyette.
what you were thinking of.
Oh, right.
Right. Without the whole name, it
Yeah.
didn't sound like anything to me. I always think it was the whole thing, Trent Boyette.
Yeah. It's got a good sound to it.
Yeah. But yeah, Miss Claridge was
Yeah.
the teacher's name.
Yeah, boy, she is definitely a suffering sponge.
Oh yeah, she is like the human Butters. Like, absolutely.
Human butter.
That's any human. I'm just thinking adult. Like human Butters. You know what? I'll take it. It still somehow fits.
Yeah.
Still somehow fits.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, that whole like side plot was great because it was a way to like transition from scene to scene and like really stick with like the outsideness of this episode and like the around townness. Like it was like this constant point where like normally if they just showed that intersection you would not know where that is. But yeah, it was a good like staple point where everybody was revolving around the episode. And yeah, it is that constant like you know, I want to scream but I have no mouth like horror
it's
vibe
a nightmare.
of the it always gets you in the end of Miss Claridge did Trent Boyette do this to you? Ah, yes.
It's such a classic joke.
I also just want all the townspeople just being like, fine, if you don't want to open up to me. It's the perfect joke. Like they could have so easily done the thing of like the train track thing we did a while back with Butters of I think that was Butters. Might have been somebody else. But yeah, where like she gets stuck on the road and she gets hit by a car or something, but like yeah. I mean, you have to have the even more like damage at the end with the fire and the cats and everything.
Oh man!
But like, they didn't even make it like look that much worse. They were just like, it's basically the same. We're just gonna wrap it back up.
That's not where I thought we were going with her because like the episode they're referencing is like a long trial.
Okay.
And the character who is like in that like machine where he can only beep one for yes, two times for no is like part of the trial. And so I thought the climax of the episode was going to be like they recharge her and then get her take on the incidents.
Yeah. No, I think that they were probably just watching that and like had the idea of like, wouldn't it be funny if of all the stuff. Yeah, I can see how those sort of like correlate. I wonder that thing like the Miss Claridge plot probably came first and the episode was built around.
I can definitely see that.
Which is probably why it's such like I said the like central point of the episode where everybody keeps revolving around.
Yeah. Like this is definitely an episode where I think the title came after the fact. Like they built most of the episode, then they were like, okay, let's say preschool because it'd be really people are going to be hyped to see them as preschoolers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And like it is the preschool episode. It revolves around the preschool plot and everything. Yeah, what do you think about Trent?
Oh man. I think everyone knows a Trent.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a Trent. Everyone's got the kid who starts fires and has a little knife.
Yeah. But yeah, I love him in this episode, like, for his role and everything.
Yeah.
He's such a, like, I love him where he's like, just take your punishment and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
I'm just going to torture you once. But I also love that, like, we never see him do any of it.
Yeah.
He is, like, this mythical, powerful figure.
Like, I think it is a perfect balance because it is a, like, on one hand, it is a, like, yeah, they should just accept the karma. But on the other hand, he does annihilate all those 6th graders.
Yeah.
And what he's going to do to them is going to be worse.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but it is deserved.
It is deserved. But at the same time, I would also think, like, maybe we won't be able to walk after this. He might noogie us so hard that we can't move.
It's the kind of thing where you can put yourself in the perspective of it, and you're like, even if, as an audience, you're like, they do deserve it, if you were in this situation, you'd be doing the same thing. You're like, I don't want my titties twisted. You're gonna fight back. But, yeah. Yeah, it's just, the Butters side of the Trent thing, you want to talk about that part of it?
He's such a perfect victim. Like, again, I don't empathize with his parents at all. They're awful.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, because we keep on seeing the shenanigans that Butters gets into, and because we've seen, like, that this has been a thing throughout his life, even independent of the boys, like, I can understand why they don't react to him screaming, "Please let me in! I'm going to die."
Yeah,
like
that is Butters.
Like it is so perfectly cartoon.
It is. Yeah, but oh man, the parents' jokes are like I can't handle this anymore. I'm gonna go upstairs and read.
Yeah,
or
we're reading.
We were reading. That's so good. His parents are like the perfect, just like evil. Where it's like every time you don't like every time it's a surprise as to how like evil it is.
Yeah.
Just cause like the tone of their voice, like you should expect it every time, and yet it's still so like shocking every time.
Yeah,
I don't know if shocking is not the right word, but like
because it's also not always worse. It is just always different.
yeah, I think that is the good point. Yeah, it's never like they continue to get worse. It's just. Yeah, it's always like a beat too, so you think they're done, and then they, say the last thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how do you feel about the way like this episode started, like the way that this plot got rolling?
I think it's perfect. Like, it wasn't an immediate, like, it's just already happening and we're not going to, like, give you any context. But it is just enough context that it was, like, the scenes themselves are funny, and it is a build-up. It is this, like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is actually getting scary.
Yeah. And I really appreciate the choice to show Trent as a preschooler only, and then we see him as a, as a fourth grader like they are.
Yeah.
And I love the way where it's, like, the bars are in front of him, so you can kind of see him before it's, like, slowly getting revealed.
So
That's excellent. I'm a sucker for like a lot of the one-off characters like that, like Romper Stomper back in the old Juvie episode. I really like the Juvie kids. they're all great.
This was also a different Juvie building, right?
It was a different Juvie place, yeah.
Yeah.
Completely different one. Yeah, seemed to be like out and like he also had like such a thick Southern voice.
Yeah.
Different than like the normal like Colorado accent that like a lot of the adults have, where they have Southern accents, but it's Colorado Southern.
Yeah.
Whereas he was more Texas Southern.
Yeah.
Which interesting choice.
Interesting.
I don't actually know if he's voiced by somebody else or not. I'll check. But yeah, everything about his design, his voice, like everything. I really appreciate when they go all out and just like this episode. Even like why can't I remember his name right now? Scott Tinnerman. That was excellently done. Like putting so much character into somebody that we only see one time.
Like, I'm endlessly just impressed by when South Park manages to pull out yet another character that also feels like they're going to be around forever.
Yeah. And, like, they do feel, like, I think the thing that makes them feel like they can be around forever is how fleshed out they are.
Yeah.
So, like, you can bring them back at any point, and it doesn't feel like, like someone like Clyde, we can use Clyde a lot. Clyde has been used a lot. He was at the very start of this episode just talking. But, there's not, like, a feeling like he is all like a major thing that can just like pop up in the episode. Whereas like if Trent just popped up in an episode, it wouldn't be hard to like establish again what is their thing. Clyde, every episode he's in, is just a normal person, but they do have to kind of reestablish his like quietness and droningness. Yeah, what do you think about the sixth graders plot with with Stan's mom? Also, Stan's mom, with all the sixth graders saying she has the best
one in
boobs
the world. Now, that is something where I have to suspend my disbelief. I can't imagine. How did this happen? This has to be a sixth grade rumor, right?
It has.
Like, it can't be someone looking at the silhouette and going, yeah, that's the best.
Because, like, also, Carbon's mom, I feel like, is the one where is more canonically everybody is attracted to Carbon's mom. But like that is a more of the adult sort of thing. But yeah, Shannon is like, it is definitely a because it had to be Stan, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's also extremely funny that of all people it's Shannon, because she is the most like chaste, like
Yeah. Like, it does bring to mind the childhood thing of, like, people saying anyone's mom is hot.
Yeah.
Because there is that feeling of, like, wait, I know that person, but I don't know what being hot means yet. There's, like, this weird divide there.
Sure.
Yeah, it also just, the concept of the sixth graders never fails to get me, because they haven't hit puberty yet, or like they'd be in the very early stages, but they are like 3 times as high as the boys, and they're only 2 years older.
Yeah, it's like such a little gap. And they were the 5th graders before, back when the boys were 3rd graders.
Yeah.
So it's like they have grown and they're still this way. It again creates this, like, as you were talking about last episode, South Park we're starting to get into it now, I feel like more, this like very high RPG vibe to it.
Yeah.
And like where we have like, factions of people that also feel like races in an RPG or in a D&D sort of like setting. Like we have like the Raisins girls, we have the 6th graders, we have the goths, we have like there's all just these pockets of groups of people.
Yeah. And I love the energy of, because you can also, like, I think early on they definitely made the fifth graders feel more like, you know, like high schoolers or more like teenagers.
Yeah.
Whereas as we've seen more and more of the sixth graders, we've also seen that they act more like the fourth graders or the third graders than you know they seemed like at first.
Yeah, they definitely feel more like sixth graders now than
Yeah.
actual like high schoolers.
Yeah, like it actually makes the gap feel more impactful.
Yeah, the bike thing really gets me too.
Yeah.
Especially around this age, like it's weird talking about like, oh yeah, middle schoolers do this or blah blah blah, when it's really like a middle schoolers in the early 2000s
Right.
did this. But like yeah, bike culture being such a huge middle school thing when I was in middle school. It's extremely so. But I mean, to be fair, they're also, this is, you know, from Matt and Trey's youth, so
Right.
that's still carried over a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case. You know, I hope that I don't have any middle schooler watching, so I don't want to ask, because I don't want to find out. So, but yeah, the seeing all the bikes in a pile, all like messed up and
yeah.
everything, is such a fun visual of like immediately clues you in, and it feels so like real. Like in real life, I could see that and believe like I've seen that sort of thing plenty of times where like. You know, my friend will be like, I'm like, oh, can you come to my house? And I'm like, oh no, somebody like took my bike and destroyed it or whatever. Because you know, just plenty of shit like that going on in like cul-de-sacs of I don't like this person, so I'm going to take their bike and destroy it without them seeing me. That's what I also want to mean, like bike culture.
Okay.
There's a lot of like bike culture. I don't know how else to put it that. Oh, my bike's messing up. I'm going to go over to my friend who knows how to work on bikes because he's been learning it for the past like 2 years. There was huge like bike culture around where I grew up. And probably because you could just like bike everywhere, but you couldn't walk everywhere, and you weren't old enough to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas definitely nowadays, I don't think you would be able to bike everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I like that. Like seeing like you know my friend's bike all trashed and like that having this feeling as if they got beat up is like, you know, I get that vibe from that scene.
Yeah.
I love the Cartman trying to teach Stan how to like manipulate his mom and like how to, you gotta say it, but man. A lot of great like Cartman and Stan this episode.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but some. More than we usually ever get.
I love that they were using Sex by Madonna as a guide as to how boobs look.
Yeah. Getting more Shelley, it's been a while.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's been so long.
It's been so long since we got like pure Shelley. Like we get Shelley a lot, but she just kind of has like one line or two.
Yeah.
Getting like her to have the turd energy, the
Oh,
absolutely screaming spittle flying out of her mouth in your
Yeah.
faceness is great. And like how let's power level it. Do you think Shelley is more powerful than Trent Boyette?
I think she is.
Okay.
Like,
How old do you think Shelley is?
mm,
They might have said it already, but I don't actually remember, and I don't know off the top of my head.
I feel like she's only like a year older.
Yeah, she doesn't feel as old as the sixth graders.
Yeah, so I think she's in 5th grade right now.
Yeah. But we never see her in the school either. She
Oh,
could
yeah,
be a
you're
high
right.
schooler.
Oh boy, that is so no.
I have no idea.
Oh, if she's in high school, that's a real.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think like she is, when I think of who are the most powerful people in South Park,
Yeah.
Shelley definitely immediately comes to mind.
Yeah, like she got lots of scenes in the, like, especially in the early era of South Park where people just kind of like threw things all over the place.
Yeah.
But even in that era, she was still stronger than a lot of the adults.
Yeah, like the only thing that was like markedly stronger than her was like the monsters like Mecha Streisand or like
Yeah.
Clone Stan or whatever. Like that was really it. But she was like just picking up entire TVs with like one hand, just going.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Shelley is a powerhouse. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it's been so long that I genuinely did not know where we were going when they said there's one person who's stronger.
Yeah.
My initial thought, I didn't say it, was Chef. I thought they were going to hire Chef to do this.
I can see why you were saying that. Like it is like they always do go to him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I gotta say, when I was watching Daredevil season 2,
Mm-hmm.
so some slight spoilers for Daredevil season 2.
I don't know where this is going.
Some slight spoilers. So just skip ahead.
Okay.
the scene where all the Punisher victims are in the hospital and they're like having to like deal with each other because they're in the hospital.
Right.
But when we just first see them walk in and there's all the people in the hospital and that, I immediately thought of that scene in this episode of all the sixth graders in the fucking hospital with their bikes outside. I was trying so hard to not just like. There was no way to like make a reference to it in like a word or in a way that was, you would have to just describe it. There's so many times like that in my reaction. It's like I could make a reference, but it's like it would kill the joke to it's too much of a walk. But yeah, I was thinking at the time, eventually I'll be able to say this, and I get to hear.
I'm glad you can finally say it.
It was just so. And Trent, just in general, it just feels to me like so much like Punisher this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the fact like everybody just keeps getting sent to the hospital, and they seem to not be able to do anything about Trent. Like they're just like, yeah, he's just doing this.
Yeah. The angle where like Cartman's holding the taser and we see his chins and they're like extra big is so good.
Yeah. It's a fantastic look.
Like, it is a slightly different look from every time we've seen it before. Before, it used to just be they moved his face up.
Yeah. But yeah, this one actually looked like he was looking up.
Yeah.
Or, like, not looking up, but, like, leaning back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, he was trying to get as far away from Trent and the, like, taser that he's holding as possible. Which, canonically now, his mom just carries around a taser with her.
I mean,
which,
fair.
like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It's also, especially for her.
Yeah. It's a taser with enough power to charge up the entire battery as
well.
well.
Oh, yeah, that was so anime! Okay, so, I was actually curious if, like, are the censored things, like, because they were, like, actual kids, like, preschoolers saying them? Like, Ike does that.
Right.
But, like, still, like, I was like, were they, like, because this is in preschool, the ratings were, like, you can't do, or the Comedy Central was like, you can't do this, whatever. But no, it actually was that they purposely swear the words because they were just saying, you big dummy, you idiot, and they would just, like, censor the words.
Ah, that's clever.
Yeah. So, okay, this episode actually did not start off with the Mrs. Claridge thing. It actually started off with just them going. Can you guess what phrase they said that kicked off this thing? It's the thing that we joke about all the time. South Park kids.
Ah.
We joke about that all the time, like South Park kids,
South Park babies.
Zega babies, yeah. That is a very, like, common trope, you know? But I love that it literally just, like, it started with the idea of quote-unquote South Park kids. And it's like, they're already kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why kid was the operative word they used, but yeah, it's so easy of an idea.
Oh, yeah.
Do you notice anything about the flashback shot of the school, continuity-wise, that I actually really appreciate that they did? Hopefully I'll have it up on screen, but it'll be pretty easy to say otherwise.
Is it smaller?
No. Not about, like, the school itself, but about the crowd. Like, about, like, continuity within one of the people.
Oh, I mean, Mr. Mackey still has Mr. Hats.
Well, that was a little not Mr. Mackey, but Mr. Garrison still has Mr. Hat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate going back to that. Yeah, because I could fully 100% see them accidentally just, like, putting Mr. Slave here or something, and just be like, yeah, oh shit, right, he wasn't that whole time. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that, you know, Mr. Garrison has Mr. Hat in the flashback.
Yeah.
How do you feel, by the way, now in retrospect about Mr. Hat? You know, you want to talk about that for a little bit, like just the whole hat thing that Mr. Hat, Mr. Twig thing that Mr. Garrison was doing. It was what do you think about that whole plot line? And now it's moved on to Mr. Slave, like an actual person.
I feel like they could have done more with that.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's not really anything that I have much to say about. It's just like, it was a fun thing they did at the time, and they sort of dropped it, and there's nothing really, like, you know, they could have done more. That, you know, I don't really care if they did more, but
yeah,
they could have.
The initial idea, I understand, and I like Mr. Slave a lot more already.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Like, I'm glad we've gotten away with it, or gotten away from it, but just because, I think Mr. Slave is funnier. I think just Mr. Garrison without Mr. Hat is funnier in general.
Yeah.
But I think it worked for at the time.
Sure.
You know? But yeah, I was just curious if you had anything interesting to say.
Nah, like Mr. Garrison is like good without being repressed.
Yeah.
I think like Mr. Hecht was also just a big repression joke. And I don't think that works that well with a extremely bad person character.
Especially after he did the whole episode where he, like, went to the mountains and
Yeah.
became, like, was accepting of the fact that he was gay and everything. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, this is actually one of the very few episodes where there's no, like, you know, what I learned today was, like,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that at all in this episode. No lesson, no
I mean,
moral.
they didn't.
No, I mean, very clearly there's not.
It's also so mind-bending to think about the fact that preschool was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When we have seen 5 Christmases, but it hasn't been 5 years.
Oh, no, has not. We're working on psyche logic here.
Oh, boy.
Again, that is, I don't know, I talked about it before, the
Yeah.
psyche thing. So disappointed by that.
Mhm.
I love that South Park has a, you know, like, we have, like, so many Christmases over and over again, but they have time has moved forward.
Right.
Like, Kyle has aged, but I don't know what age he was before. He's had a birthday.
Right.
And, like, yeah, but then they, like, reset that. So that one I won't count. But, like, yeah, I do appreciate, like, the moving forward a grade. Like,
Yeah.
it's just how early in the show it happened. Like, you know, they could have, like, waited a long time for that until the show got stale, but they did that pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'm so curious, as always, to see, like, are they going to commit to 6th grader bodies at some point? Or not even 6th grader bodies, 5th grader bodies. If they move over 1 year, they should have 5th grader bodies. But at the same time, that is like redesigning your entire series.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to think about it, it's like almost any, like, the goth kids are in the same grade, more or less. I actually don't know. I mean, like, one of them is definitely in kindergarten, but I'm not sure if the rest of them are in 4th grade or 5th grade or what.
Right.
But they have, you know, different-ish body types that are very, like, a little bit different than normal. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, 6th graders go farther out. The Raisin Girls, are they all in 4th grade? Like, you know, the body types are weird in South Park. Like, sometimes they can
Yeah.
change a little bit. Sometimes they're, like, very rigid to what you, like, are, like, you know, what your role is.
Yeah. Like, again, very RPG-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's one thing I would want from South Park, it would be, well, one of two things. Either they do change the designs, and that would be like a hard, like, season 18 thing, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like a real, no one's watching South Park right now, let's just do a quick change. Or alternatively, have everyone locked into shape in universe.
I mean, like, you have people like Mr. Mackey who are very clearly locked into shape.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we've implied that his head is like that because of the necktie
Yeah.
thing, but then they've kind of gotten rid of that, so it is just like, that is just the shape of him.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I did
Oh.
not actually catch that. The place where Miss Clarence runs into is a propane shop that does say sells propane and propane accessories.
Ah, good goof.
Okay, so the reason why that Star Trek reference probably wasn't as, like, you know, about the Star Trek episode as you thought was because, like, the beep for once, two for no, I mean, it's come up in so much
Oh, yeah, for
stuff.
sure.
Like, Futurama came up before this, but, like, as, like, a plot-relevant thing rather than, like, the joke thing at the end of, like, the 2 beeps means 2 yeses. But, yeah, that was actually, and the escaped prisoner getting revenge and everything, both of them are from Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
like, yeah, referencing more of that and then,
Yeah.
like, doing the Star
Ah.
Trek thing mixed with Monte Cristo.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense now that you've said it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. You know what? Like, the skull is basically the Punisher skull.
Basically,
like,
yeah.
it's supposed to be a parody of that, I guess. I didn't even think of it when they closed up on it, but yeah, that is, I guess, supposed to be the Punisher skull. So I will say, I appreciate the continuity they had from Mr. Garrison, but in the flashback scene, we do see, I'm not going to name their names, but we do see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people standing outside that are their current age in the flashback. Like, they didn't de-age them in the flashback, they just put them there as the current age.
Ah.
So, really weird. Especially one of them is a big character that we'll get to in a while. It's something that I keep mentioning, but it's a thing that I don't think they had planned, but there is just a character that has been throughout South Park almost the entire time that is not going to be relevant until way later. And I keep subtly kind of talking about just like the continuity issues with them. It's interesting how long they've been around and done stuff, though. Alright, that is it for this episode. We will see you guys for the next episode, Quest for Ratings.
Oh boy.
Until then, get the fuck out of here.